Hello, Mount Roadmore here, and oh boy, you know, in some ways, it's exactly what I wanted, and also not. I gotta stop using monkey's paws to make Big Brother exciting. Oh, okay, so good morning, Scarlet Rain 88. Thank you for being here. Um, we uh, we had a double eviction tonight, and always going into a double eviction, there's always that little bit of what's going to happen. It's going to be moving so fast. Will people make the right decisions in the moment? There's a lot of that always. It's just an inherent thing about a double eviction, and a lot definitely happened, and I'm still trying to make sense of it all. Anyway, let's just get to the Cliff Notes version of it. Uh, just to sum up, uh, Terrance was evicted first, unanimously, which didn't surprise anybody. He left without saying goodbye to anybody. He's like, I gotta do it, Daniel. And I'm like, yeah, fine, go ahead. Join the trash heap that he's in. See if we care. I don't. Have fun. He leaves. Turner wins HOH, which was basically my biggest worry. Because I thought he was the one most likely to put Taylor up. But he puts up Brittany and Alyssa. Then the veto is played. Michael does not win. Monty wins. And Monty uses it on Alyssa. Michael goes up. Michael is evicted unanimously. So that's just those are just the specifics of tonight. But there is a lot to break down. I was not sure I would even do one of these tonight. I'm like, I'll do it if it's interesting. I may not do it if it wasn't that interesting. I may never do it again if I hate what happened. But yeah, this is where we're at now. So glad Terrance is out of that house. Me too, Scarlett. He was awful in just about every way. But before we, not gonna lie, that shocked me to read. I honestly thought Michael would survive tonight. I mean, it was kind of in the back of my mind, like if he doesn't win that veto, they might take the shot at him. Like I thought they'd be foolish not to, but I mean, obviously Brittany wouldn't, and Turner and Monty made that gentleman's agreement with him. So I'm like, you know, maybe they won't. But anyway, before either eviction happens, we get a jury segment. It starts with Indy. Like, oh yeah, Indy exists. Um, and she's just kind of hanging out in the jury house, and she's saying that she's kind of bored being there alone, but it's just like she's hanging out in a nice summer house. That's really what she wanted the Big Brother house to be. She thought she'd just be able to relax in there. So I'm like, the jury house is perfect for her. She's in there, she's just vibing. And then Jasmine shows up, still walking with a limp, but for some reason wearing heels. That doesn't seem wise, but, I'm not a doctor. And then, not long after, Joseph comes in, and, they trade stories, they watch what happens, and learn from Joseph what happens. Then Kyle shows up, and I was very curious as to how this was going to go. First of all, when Kyle showed up, and first of all, they were surprised to see him, but Kyle just kind of walks up and he's still just very somber and defeated. And it's like, you know, he that looked like regret on his face. He looked like he had a lot of regrets. And then they see the HOH competition play out. They see the Turner won, and Joseph's like, "Wait, Turner won, and you're here?" And then Kyle's like, "There was some other aspects that came into play." And then he confesses that he thought it was a basically a cookout 2.0 of not just all the black people, but all the people of color working together. Now, bear in mind, Indy, Jasmine, and Joseph are all people of color, and they are shocked and hurt by this information. Indy actually she gets up and walks away for a little while, and you know, initially Jasmine and Joseph are just like, "Why? Why would you think that?" And even Joseph says, "When we were outside at Direfest, I was the one trying my hardest to keep you," and he was like, Joseph was trying to stay leftover strong and get Alyssa out, but then the conversation makes its way over to Michael and Brittany, talking about Michael and Brittany, how they had this information for a while and didn't release it until their backs were up against the wall. And Jasmine and Joseph were like they found them just to be kind of as complicit in it. But even Kyle's like, no, this was me. This was my doing. And I mean, look, in some ways, it's like, you know, if this had happened, I'd like to think that I would have gone public with it right away. I might have talked to someone about it, but I can't say for sure what I would have done. I like to think that I would have been like, we can maybe still get, like, if I was part of the leftovers, obviously, be like, we can get the leftovers to 7, but when we're there, you're the first one out. You know, that's probably not even the right thing to do, but that's just I'm being honest here. I don't know what I would have done with this information, and clearly Michael and Brittany didn't quite know either, and they made some mistakes. But I will say I have learned from their mistakes, and I said this to my dad while I was watching with him. I said, if I ever get on Big Brother and I hear someone make these kind of comments, I'm ratting them out immediately. Like, I'm going to someone. Like, I'll probably go to like my closest person in the house and just like talk to them. Like, I gotta I gotta release this information. I just want to think of the best way to do it, and I would work that out with my closest ally, and then proceed from there. So I have learned for sure from Michael and Brittany's mistakes. As far as Indy eventually does rejoin the group, and I did like what Joseph said. He said hatred, responding to hatred with hatred just causes more hatred, and like that's true. But Joseph also admits that he's probably going to need some time to fully forgive Kyle. And Indy and Jasmine, they both also seem open to forgiving him. But yeah, I think they've got a lot of time now in the jury house to talk things over, and I really do want to believe Kyle was serious about wanting to grow from this. So I hope he does continue to grow. I really do. Anyway, back in the house, uh, we get to the first eviction, Terrance had been talking about how he's gonna have a brutal speech and he's gonna be mean to Taylor. He does not do that, but he does say some kind of cryptic stuff. Just like he doesn't say it outright, but he's like, you know, it should be Michael. That was the intent of his words. And he was also saying like, of course, they showed his comments about like what he can do in jury, but like the jury's already mad at Michael and Brittany for doing that. So Terrance will get there and have nothing to do, just like he had nothing to do in the house. So like that was kind of funny for me, just realizing that Terrance's whole plan to sabotage Michael and the jury is just like it's, it's just kind of it'll be old news by the time he gets there. But yes, everyone votes. Terrance is evicted unanimously, and he's like, "Gotta do a Daniel," and walks out the door without saying goodbye to anybody. I'm like, "You don't have to do a Daniel. I'm sorry, you don't have to do a Smellvis. Okay? I really can't even. I don't even like saying the original his actual name anymore, which is not fair. I have a cousin with that name. I have two cousins with that name. They're on like one's on my dad's side of the family, one's on my mom's side. But yeah, I I'm trying to stick with Smelvis for him. I bet Terrance was happy to see that Michael followed him to the jury house. Well, he does not know yet. Like, Terrance won't find out until he gets to the jury house, and then Michael shows up not long afterwards. So yeah, he leaves and he goes out the way Smelvis did. And Taylor, like for the vote, she was wearing like a nice dress, and then like Terrance leaves, right? It comes back, and like in the span of about 30 seconds, Taylor has changed from her dress to athletic wear. I'm like, this woman is like a superhero. She's like Batman when he'd get on the pole, he'd start sliding down while wearing like a suit, and then when he gets to the bottom, he's he's Batman. Just Taylor just finds all these little ways to impress me, and I love it. Do they not go straight to the jury house after they are evicted? Well, they got to do exit interviews. Uh, they'll both probably get there sometime tomorrow, maybe Saturday. I'm not 100% sure how that works, to be honest. But yeah, they've got to do some interviews. The interviews are a little trickier now because all the questions have to be pre-approved, so that no interviewers can like influence anything. Like, you can't influence any jury votes. But yeah, I just that just made me laugh when Taylor was already back in a different outfit, and Alyssa was not back yet, so like she was still changing because she was also wearing a dress while she was sitting next to Terrance. So yeah. Oh, hmm. I can't believe I almost forgot about this. Um, in his interview with Julie, she asked him, "Who would you most like to see come out the door next?" After she told him that it was a double eviction, he's like, "It'd be so peaceful for my soul to see Taylor come out next." Not Michael, the one who nominated you and then didn't use the veto on you, the one who you're planning to poison in the jury house. Is that why you want Michael to stay in the house? Just so you can poison the jury? Is that it? It's just, of course, he would say that. God, Terrance is still a moron. Yeah, I don't think we will ever see Terrance again after this season. I mean, like for the most part, you only see him on like you only see past contestants on like social media and maybe like a couple other shows that specifically take shows people from reality shows like Big Brother. I don't think we're ever going to see Terrance again. I don't even think he's going to have a Facebook after this. This man is going to disappear, and it's what he deserves. So Julie breaks the news to everybody. It's a double eviction, which a lot of them already kind of figured. Like there'd been a lot of talk about it. So we get to the competition, and it's one of the classic booth competitions. Like they're all standing in a booth and they have to answer. They can't see each other. They have to answer questions. Whoever gets the most questions right wins. And I was surprised at this competition because usually it's like a true or false, A or B, sometimes A, B, or C. This time, like they were going to be showing like a laser light show, and they were asked a question about like which color, like what was the first color? What color appeared the most? What color came between these two colors? Like it looked pretty tough. I I tried to do it myself. I think I got maybe 4 or 5 right. I think 4. I think I got 4 right. I don't want to. There were only 7, but, so even 4 might be giving myself too much credit. But yeah, I'm like, this one seems really tough because they had 6 colors to choose from. It was red, orange, green, blue, pink, and white. So yeah, that one really did seem tough. I definitely would not have won this one. Turner wins it. He got 6, I believe, correct out of 7. Turner's the HOH. Not my ideal scenario because I was still a little worried Taylor would go up. His first conversation is with Alyssa, and he starts saying to her like, "Yeah, you're gonna go up, but you're not gonna go over Brittany." So I'm like, "Okay, Taylor, not touching the block. Sounds good to me." But I was still thinking like, Michael wins the veto, he'll pull Brittany down. Taylor would probably go up, but in that case, I think that Michael and Brittany would have voted Alyssa out over Taylor. Hold on, there was a competition that Michael didn't win. Oh, well, we're getting to that. Oh, wait, you mean the HOH? Michael was the outgoing HOH. He couldn't participate in that. But yes, I thought that if Michael won the veto, he'd use it on Brittany. Taylor goes up, Alyssa leaves. Oh yeah, sorry, haven't fully woken up yet. Gotcha. No worries. Um, but I'm still thinking, like, Turner, if he doesn't win that veto, you got to do it. So we see what the veto competition is, and there's like these, like some kind of stand like that you'd see at like a concert, and there are cables. Well, there's one cable wrapped around each one, like super tangled up, and everyone had to basically untangle it, like to the point that they could reach across the backyard and plug it into an amp. Now I looked at this competition and I'm like, no, this looks tricky, but I think I could have done this one. I definitely think I would have had a better chance of winning the veto tonight than the HOH competition because like they had to basically like walk around the thing. They had to crawl under some of the bars. And, like all these stands were really close together, so some of them were like bumping into each other, and a few of them looked pretty tangled up. Like I remember Taylor at one point. I'm like, oh, she is super tangled. Turner looked really tangled, but like I feel like Turner was pretty close to winning as well. Like what they did was Michael did it a couple times. He unraveled enough, and he was just like, maybe if I go for it, maybe this is enough. It was not. And a lot of them tried to do this a couple times. They tried to go for it. They hadn't untangled it enough. They had to go back. I have the hiccups now. I had to go back and keep untangling. And in the end, Monty wins this competition. And this was like the moment of truth. He uh, he talks to Alyssa. He goes into one of the bedrooms with Alyssa, And hold on, I put the quote here. Oh, I forgot to mention, Michael looked pretty nervous. You know, like I could see on his face, like, are they going to honor the agreement? Monty's first conversation is with Alyssa, and he says, and I quote, "You are coming down, girl. Now is the time. We have got to make the move." And in that moment, I knew it was over for him. Goes to commercial, comes back, and there's a lot of chatter going on. And, like, it's coming from Michael. Uh, Julie tells everybody to take their seat, tells Turner to, well, tells Monty to face the living room and make your decision. He says that I am going to use the veto on Alyssa. And then it's time for Turner to name a replacement. Turner gets up, and you can hear Monty say, I mean, you can hear Michael say, "You're safe if you don't do it. You're safe if you don't do it." I'm like, oh, this man knows, and he is in a tailspin now. Turner is unmoved by Michael's words, and he puts him up. So now Michael and Brittany are on the block together. So comes back from another commercial break, and it seemed like there was an argument going on that Julie had to break up, get them all to sit down. And like I heard Michael talking about, oh wow, LOL, I'm gonna have to find footage of that moment. Oh, just just browse the hashtag. You'll find it soon enough. Um, I hear Michael say something about like LGBTQ plus. He wouldn't put up an LGBTQ person, and Turner is bi. Michael's gay, as we all know. Um, and he's saying something about that. I'm like, I'm not sure if Michael was saying I would have never nominated another LGBTQ person, or if like Turner said that to him. But either way, I'm just like, I never heard this. So I guess apparently Turner may have said something about it. I think, and Michael's mad at him for going back on his word. I think that's what happened. I'm not 100% sure. I really need to watch Sunday's episode just to see what the full extent of this conversation was. So we get the speeches. Brittany says expected stuff. Michael, he says that Monty and Turner are going to get all the credit for this move, ladies. You need someone in here to help you against them. You keep me, I'm going for them. Valid. That's a good pitch. That way it'll be 3 against 1 in the HOH competition. Him, Taylor, and Alyssa versus Monty. So I'm like, yeah, that's a valid argument. Then he goes ahead and he throws Brittany right under the bus by saying that she's been making final two deals with everybody and she's been giving information to everybody. And I mean, he goes in on Brittany to the point that she looked almost kind of heartbroken. But I'm like, look, that's the game. The back's against the wall. You do what you got to do. So, uh, wow, he sold Brittany out. Yeah, I actually kind of respect him for doing that, to be honest. Like in his position, You do what you gotta do. It's kind of what I wish Joseph did right away when he was outside under Terrance's HOH. He should have sold out Kyle right away. Then he might still be here. I would not have expected that of him. Yeah, well, Brittany did not try to throw Michael under the bus. She's just like, I hope you keep me around. I hope you see that I can be good for your game. You know, generic stuff. Yeah, Michael went all in. I respect that. Just didn't think I'd ever hear from Michael. Yeah, I was also surprised at a lot of things he said and did tonight. But we get to the eviction, and Michael is evicted unanimously. And this is where I felt it kind of stopped being game related. He just like, stay seated. I have something to say. And he walks out the door without saying anything to anyone. Not a goodbye, not a hug, not a fist bump, nothing. And I'm like, look, I didn't like it when Terrance did it. I didn't like it when Smellis did it a couple years ago. And I didn't like Cody doing it in BB19. I don't respect people who just storm out like a punk. Because that's how I feel Michael went out tonight. He went out like a punk. And, I'm seeing it all over social media. Like, oh, that was an iconic exit. It was so iconic. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'll stand alone on this. What, do you think I'm new to being alone on stuff? I'm 31 and I've been single basically my whole life. I'm used to being alone. I don't respect it. Like, okay, maybe if he'd been bullied the whole time throughout the game and was just happy to be free of everybody for his mental health, sure, maybe. The man won 9 competitions, tied for the most ever. And he tied with someone who was also taken out when they got the chance. Hello, enraged grandpa. Thank you for being here. I'm the one feeling kind of enraged tonight. It may or may not be iconic, but still not a cool move. I don't respect it, honestly. And here's what really got me. When he gets out, talking to Julie, he's like, "Yeah, I admit it was the right move for their game. I get why they did it. Okay, so say that as soon as the votes are in. You know, they should have at least told them good game. I think he was in the leftovers with all but Alyssa in that house. He owed them that much. I think. But yeah, him saying that like, yeah, they were right to do it. Like to me, that just kind of undermines the way he left. That he was okay with it, and like I think he was just trying to be dramatic, which makes it a performative move. And performative is something Michael has been accused of a lot by the BB fandom, with like just taking everything into account, like including especially the Kyle information and how he only released it when it was convenient for him, not so much because he felt it was the right thing to do. I don't know if I respect the walkout or not. It's just something I didn't think I'd see of him. Yeah, like, dude, you're a super fan of this game. You had 9 wins. You knew they were coming for you. And the episode ends with everybody comforting Brittany because she's still just hurt and shocked by Michael, everything he said. And I'm just looking at her like, girl, if you don't win something, you're next. Um, the more I think of it, I'm actually a little disappointed by Michael's actions. Yeah, like if nothing else, he should have given Brittany a hug goodbye. Also, all last week during Michael's HOH reign, Brittany told him so many times to put up. Well, at first it was Turner a lot, but then she was like, "Okay, so I can't get Turner. He wants to honor this deal, so maybe I can get him to put up Monty." And you know, I think she was right. She should have gotten out at least one of them because they were the two who won power this week. Like, yeah, okay, Turner probably still would have put him up if he didn't win the veto, but if he'd gotten Monty out, then Monty wouldn't have been there to win veto. So who knows what would have happened? Yeah, Brittany was right. All her craziness, all the mess that she made last week, she was right. He should have taken out Monty or Turner if he really wanted to go back on his word, but I think that would have hurt his chances in jury even more. Um, what was definitely my favorite part of the episode was that Taylor was a spectator for this episode. Like I was thinking, she's got to win power to definitely be safe. Otherwise, she's probably a couple people's backup options if things go a certain way. But no, she got through the night basically without any sort of. Like, Taylor was the least noticeable person in this whole thing. I mean, all she did tonight was vote. She wasn't HOH, didn't win veto, never saw the block. She was the spectator. And I'm just exactly Scarlett. You were so worried about her too, so I'm happy for the both of us that she's safe. Yeah, just the fact that she didn't win anything and was still totally in the clear. It's pretty great. And she's eligible to win this next HOH, which I hope she does. Turner is not. Going for the next HOH, it's Taylor, Monty, Brittany, and Alyssa. And she's gone from week one target to final five. Yes. And I've been feeling since the beginning that Taylor's game could end at any moment. But just the fact that she has made it from possibly going out the door week one, although she probably would have won her way back into the game. But like she was the target week one, and now here she is finishing minimum fifth place. It's pretty amazing. Don't be doing my man Turner like that. Yeah, I mean I got a little more respect for Turner for actually making the move that was available, but I still don't really like him or trust him. And besides, all I really said was he's not eligible to win HOH this week because he's the outgoing HOH. So yeah, I think it's. I mean, I don't see Brittany or Alyssa winning this HOH. To be honest, I reckon Turner may be the next target because he's got 3 wins now. Not if Monty wins HOH. Monty and Turner are almost certainly a final two now. If Monty wins HOH, I think he will put up Brittany and Alyssa. And sorry, I just my dad's stirring. He was asleep, but I just heard him walking around. Anyway, the only way that Turner would leave on Monty's HOH is if, like I said, I think Monty's going to put up Brittany and Alyssa. The only way Turner would leave would be if Taylor won the veto and pulled Brittany or Alyssa down, then Turner goes up by default, and then they can vote him out. Which, in that situation, they should absolutely do. So, you know, other than that, I think I'm my gut's telling me Monty's about to win HOH. Just is. I think Taylor is probably the second most likely to win HOH. And if she does win, I think she puts up Monty and Turner. I think Turner would be her target. Although Brittany and Alyssa might decide they want Monty out. Well, Monty used the veto to save Alyssa. So maybe Alyssa could be persuaded to vote Turner out. I think Alyssa is the third most likely to win HOH. I think she would put up Monty and Brittany. And I think maybe she'd want Monty as a target, just like because he's more of a threat. But I think she would settle for Brittany. And Brittany, I think, is the least likely to win HOH. If she does, I think she will avenge Michael, put up Turner and Monty. When is this HOH comp happening? It's happening right now. Feeds went down for it a little while ago, not long before I started my stream. Feeds are back a little bit for the aftermath. I do have some. Uh, well, I have one comment about it. Um, Taylor says that she's not just going to let Monty and Turner railroad the women all the way to the end. Like, look, guys, you want to get to the end, you're going to have to win your way there. Yeah. Taylor's coming for him. 100%. And I think if the women are able to win and maintain power, they should do it. All right. I'm gonna check online to see if there's any new developments. I imagine the HOH competition is not over yet, but let's find out. I'm just going straight to BB updates this time. Yep, they appear to still be down. Okay. Now I'll check my main timeline. Ooh, nope, that's about it. I'll carry on checking this morning and let you know, LOL. Oh, I'm going to bed after I'm done with this stream. Um, I think I'm just about done. I've said everything I wanted to say. I just I gained some more respect for Turner and Monty tonight. I was like, are you guys really going to be that stupid to not take out Michael if the shot's available? But they did take the shot, and without a doubt, their chances of winning just increased exponentially. And my opinion of Michael went down because I don't, like I said, I don't respect just storming out. I think it's I think it's a punk move, especially with in Michael's case. It seemed disingenuous, and he was just doing it for like like just to be remembered. I'm like, look, I prefer to remember the 9 comp wins. Okay, God, I hope Taylor pulls out this HOH. Um, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Done this. I've done this before, and it hasn't worked out yet. But I a couple times I have put the names into a randomizer, and like whichever one's whichever one it picks, basically, it's like that's who's gonna win. So what I'm gonna do is I'm on random.org on the list randomizer, putting everybody's name in, everybody who's eligible, and whoever it picks, that's who it's gonna say is number one. I mean, whoever's number one, that's who's gonna be the HOH according to this, according to my system, and it is Brittany. Random.org picked Brittany. Okay. I mean, Taylor would be safe. At this point, that's all I really care about. A Brittany HOH and a Taylor HOH would basically be the same thing. I think. I mean, Brittany 100% is going for the guys, and I think, and Taylor said as much. He's going for the guys. So yeah, I would like to point out though that I have done this randomizer a couple times now, and it has yet to work. But who knows? Maybe one day it'll get one right. I'm just gonna check one more time, just in case. Let's see if I can get it right at the end of the stream. Third time's a charm. Hey, that's what the expression is. Let's see if it actually comes true. Yeah, okay. No updates yet. I'll probably find out in the morning. Um, oh, I just received a very nice message from somebody. I always get nice messages while I'm streaming. I enjoy it. But yes, gone over everything. What I think will happen going forward. Uh, you know, I don't really want Monty and Turner to steamroll their way to the end. Like, yeah, good on them for making the move, but like, the 23 seasons, there've been only 7 female winners. I don't want these two to just stomp the competition all the way to the end. Nah, it's boring. So I'm down with really any of the women winning. And hey, the Britney revenge arc, that would probably win her back some of the fans that she lost in this past week because she lost a lot of them. All right, that's going to do it for me. Thank you, Scarlett. Thank you, Enraged Grandpa. I appreciate you being here, and I will see you next time. Peace out.